I did kind of get an advantage though because I did write the music for the movie, and like
Wow.
the character Oak was kind of based off me, like from the writer and the director and everything.
It's Jimmy.
Wow. So I saw the film last night, and I had no idea. But I just spoke to you, Tommy, off camera a little bit, and I had no idea that you guys filmed like on location, everything in San Diego. Tommy's from the area. You actually play guitar. I thought I didn't even know that aspect. I was just for the movie. Tell me how you guys got involved with the film. How did you hear about it initially? How did it come about? I'm going to start with you, Tommy, and then Janelle, you can tell me afterwards.
Okay, so pretty much this so the director, so my the director and the writer saw me play this song called Chasing that I wrote, and they really liked it. And like, you know, I guess like a lot of people from a young age have been telling my parents that like they like my lyrics and stuff. So I mean, they kind of had an idea for like this writer, and so like this reincarnation. And then when the writer and the director saw this, they were like they wanted to make a movie about it. And then I went and auditioned, and I got a private audition because like the music, I actually originally had the music for the movie. Like I'm like a lot of the like all the band music I wrote. So like I got a private audition, but like it wasn't like the role wasn't given to me or anything. But like
It should have probably, based on your skills.
I did kind of get an advantage though because I did write the music for the movie, and like
Wow.
the character Oak was kind of based off me, like from the writer and the director and everything. So I did get the part, and yeah, that's pretty much how I was involved with it.
Wow, Janelle, how did you come across it?
I want to squeeze you, Tommy. So basically, I had worked with the director, Sean McNamara, about 12 years ago on my first film ever, Rats. And this actually felt very serendipitous. I had seen him a couple times, spoken to him a few times, but I haven't worked with him since. But on my 30th birthday, I got an email.
You're 30? What? you don't look that part.
I'm actually over 30 now, so thank you for but on my 30th birthday, I got an email from Sean McNamara saying, hey, take a look at the script. I think it's a really beautiful story. Let us know if you want to be a part of it. And I read it like right then and there and was just sobbing. I just fell in love with the story so much. And I loved the idea, obviously, of working with Sean again. And it just sort of felt like the stars had aligned for me. Like it just sort of felt like a sign, especially with this film being so spiritual and having so much heart in it, that I just knew that I had to be a part of it. And then, coming down to San Diego, meeting the entire cast, meeting Tommy for the first time for the table read, I think we all sort of felt like, it felt very powerful already. Like we're going to make something amazing together. It just felt like it clicked.
What was your first impression, Janelle, of Tommy? I mean, here I'm stunned that actually he did his music, because mostly in films like, especially someone younger, it's just choreographed or whatnot, but this is real. I mean, it's amazing talent. What was your first impression?
I met him, we had the table read. I hadn't even heard him sing. I hadn't even heard him play. And at this point, I didn't even know that he wrote the music. So I feel like it just kind of kept snowballing for me. Like I met him and I was like, what a little cutie. We instantly had a great relationship, right, Tommy? We instantly just had like a great connection. Then we get him on set. I'm like, wow, he can really act. He's amazing. And then he opens his mouth. I'm like, he can sing. Then he started playing. I'm like, my mind is blown. He can play better than any adult I've ever heard in my life. And then I heard he wrote the music, and my mind was completely blown. I mean, I have never met such a talented person at his age in my life. So it's pretty amazing that this, I mean, look at him. He's so cute. I love you.
And he's got the blonde hair going out too.
I know, he's so cute.
Super cool.
It's such a great avenue for him to show the world who he is and his talents, and his performance is so heartfelt. You don't expect that from somebody his age. He just is a little star. I'm so proud of him.
No question. Tommy, this was your first movie role ever, right? I mean, you've done music, obviously, but this, like, in terms of acting, this was your first turn, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've done musicals, but that's much different. Like, I was on like
Mm-hmm.
the School of Rock Broadway tour, but like, that acting style is much different. So yeah, this is my first movie, but I had practiced a lot of acting before. So I mean, I'm
How
not
did you feel? Yeah, go on, Janelle.
You go, Tommy.
okay. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of new to the whole thing, but I mean, obviously, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I'm 12, and or well, at the time I was like 10 when I got the role, but like so I was like, okay, I really need to put a lot of time and effort into like getting to a place where I'm really proud of myself at acting. So I worked for months before, just like like hours every day, and by the time the movie was filming, I felt pretty confident in my acting abilities.
That's what I wanted to speak to because we all thought he was going to be so nervous. Like we're talking to him before our first shot on our first
Mm-hmm.
day. We're like, okay, you're about to have your first shot ever of anything like on camera. Are you nervous? How you feeling? He's like, I feel good. I'm ready. Like, okay, it's gonna be great. We do the first shot, Tommy. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was with the entire band, and we all looked to you. We're like, you just did your first shot ever. Like, how do you feel? You were like, oh, great. Like he just felt at home the entire time. It was amazing.
Well, I
Tommy,
mean, you go.
go on. No, I was just going to ask you, do you think you felt that comfortable because you've been performing in front of audiences and you've been on stages before and it's kind of natural to you in a sense it was another performance just being filmed?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, a little bit of it too would be like, I mean, I've been performing at that place since I was 6. Like, I don't know where it
Mm-hmm.
was, but it was probably like within the same street. And like, I just felt so at home there because with this open mic and stuff, I've been going there like all the time since I was 6. So I felt like, I was at home though. Like, but I mean, obviously it was different, but I guess I've never really been like a nervous person.
Well, that helps.
Well, star, I'm telling you.
Yeah, unbelievable. When it comes to music and acting, how do you kind of juggle that, Tommy? Especially it's your first performance ever. How do you kind of focus on the acting part, trying to, get comfortable in a sense? And you mentioned being pretty comfortable in that way. But how do you, I guess, in a sense, juggle the performance and the acting part, especially since acting is your first time you're doing it?
Um, well, I mean, I'd say that I just kind of went for it. Like, I can't really give all these like deep explanations. I just went for it. I wasn't really thinking. I was just
I
like,
think that's the way.
like if someone's ever seen me when I'm on stage, they tell you that don't really care. I'll just like go wild, and I am just myself, and I'm hoping. I'm not hoping for the best, but I'm like, I've worked for it, but like when I'm not trying to like get nervous, or I'm not trying to juggle anything. I'm just kind of happy and just like taking advice and being myself.
He's just
Hmm.
born to perform. You see him on stage, he is a little rock star. He really is.
I think it shows through. I mean, come on, to have that presence, and not only in the film you can see it, but hearing you perform at age 6. I mean, at age 6, I was like running around my boxers playing with like Power Ranger toys. Okay, that's all I could think of
Well, I was
probably.
doing that too, but like I was also doing other stuff. So
Yeah, you see, you were doing something way more productive and cool than I think most were in that point, and you were developing a talent that at your age now. What are you, 10, Tommy? Like the movie
no,
was accurate.
no, I'm 12, but
Oh, okay. Well, oh yeah, I'm sure.
I
There you
love
go.
him fast.
when I was filming.
There you go. So, I mean, that's just, I can't even imagine going down the road when you're, in your late teens and early 20s, what's in store for you. But I'll say this. When first I was introduced to the movie, I heard about it. I thought Mighty Oak. I thought I was like, it's about a tree or a dog, maybe. I had no idea what this movie was about.
Yeah, well,
And mhm.
okay, oh, sorry, no, you can go. I'm gonna answer after.
Okay, so my initial impression, I had no idea. I didn't see the trailer or anything for it. I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. I thought it was a kind of a kids movie potentially, but then when I got to see it, and the story was so deep, and it just kept on evolving, so many different layers of pain and different hardships and different backgrounds. It was a rich story about human relationship interactions. I wanted to get both of your takes. What was kind of the initial impression of the movie, and then as you went through the scripts and through more to table reads. Were you guys surprised in a sense how deep it was, and how meaningful in a lot of ways and impactful to a lot of people who are going with certain situations that are displayed in the movie?
I want to add on to the first thing.
Okay.
So my friends have always had this tendency to look me up on Google, and found out that I was in this movie. And they're like, oh, what is this movie about? Is this like about a tree or something? Like, what are you, like, you're in a tree movie? Like, and I was just like,
You are like a tree. You're a big, mighty oak.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't really, I'll let you, I mean, Janel, if you want to answer the question.
Okay.
That was kind of, this story, I've known it for a long time, so.
Yeah, and well, you contributed to it with your beautiful song. So like I said, when I first read the script, I went through the same emotions that you did while you were reading. Yeah, while you watched the movie, it was like, what's this about? Is it about a tree? Okay, so it's, you read the tagline, you're like, okay, so it's about this kid who's very talented who comes in and, they become family. Great, I'm going to read it. And it was the same emotional progression as you had, of just going deeper and hearing more about it and falling in love with these characters and realizing how deep the story is and how impactful. And then when we got to the table read and I heard everybody say it out loud, say the words out loud, that's when I knew, like, oh, this movie is going to be great. It's going to have so much heart in it, because not only is the writing there, but all these people who are in this cast, they all brought their heart to this film as well. And I think we all knew when we were making it that I think this is going to be a really beautiful movie. Sorry, my dog is barking.
There she goes.
Yeah, and also I want to say that I had a very intense reaction to the script as well, because I very much related to parts of Gina's story. About 2 years ago, we lost my father-in-law to a drunk driver. And so when I read that part in the script, I very much was like, oh, that really hits, But also what really inspired me about the story, because when I was reading it, we were very much like still going through it, was how tragedy can strike, but still the most beautiful things can come from that if you let it. The hopefulness of rebirth, whether it's reincarnation or just finding hope and love again in something else, and sort of feeling like you're having a rebirth, that you're reborn again. And I really loved that. I thought it was very inspiring, and I think if we can inspire other people, who are sort of going through the same thing, to give them that same sense of hopefulness, then I think we've done our jobs during this film.
Yeah, I wanted to ask both of you about this concept you actually mentioned of the rebirth and spirituality and reincarnation. How much you guys know about this individually, or how much did you study it and kind of research it while making the movie? And what sort of experiences or maybe parallels you individually? I know you kind of described a little bit yourself, how you related to the story because of a personal situation, but what did you take away from that aspect of the movie?
So, yeah, so if you live in my house, just walk, like, just go out. I'll just go out of this door, and I automatically see a huge Buddha statue. I mean, not huge, but like a Buddha statue is already there. So the whole, my mom does a lot of yoga, and she is like, a pretty spiritual person. My mom's always told us the story, and like meditating and stuff, like, and trying to like relax your mind, and like all of this stuff has like always been incorporated in my life. So seeing this, like, that's going to be like kind of being spread to the world, which it already has, but like throughout this movie I kind of get to contribute to it. That's pretty cool to me, that I get to see that happen, and I get to be a part of that.
Yeah. Janelle, about you, any spirituality kind of thing that's been with you, or?
Yeah, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm pretty open about that on social media, kind of new agey, I could describe myself. I like my crystals and my meditation, and I very much believe, that you get signs from the universe, which is another reason why I was like, it's coming to me on my 30th birthday. And, the parallels between what I was going through in my life at the time felt very much like a sign. So I very much connected with that, with Gina, feeling like Oak was brought into her life for a reason. I very much also like that this film it's very much like, is it or isn't it? Like, you get to decide at the very end. You get to decide whether you believe in it or not. It's not preachy about reincarnation. It's more about, hope and whatever you believe. And I think that that's what's really beautiful about this film, is that she feels this instant connection to Oak. And it is so surprising to her that she could meet this stranger and immediately feel this bond, that she's like, it must be my brother. And then you get to decide whether you think it is or it isn't.
Yeah, that's a really good explanation.
There you go. I mean, I can see the chemistry you guys have. You guys feel like a real family in a sense, and I got that vibe totally watching the movie, that everyone was really in sync together. And I just wanted to know more about behind the scenes, offset. How did you guys form these friendships and relationships, especially you two? Now I can tell already from talking to you, but what was it like connecting kind of offset? Because it feels like a big sister kind of guardian relationship even now when we're talking that way too. You're so supportive of each other, and it's not for the movie. I can totally sense that. So tell me about the relationships you guys had as a cast, and you two together offset to kind of build it and translate it to the movie.
You want to take it?
Sure. Well, Janelle's always just like been like the nicest person, and there's not really like anything that anyone could hate about her. So like, it's like, I don't know how anyone would not have like a good relationship if they like were with her constantly for like a few weeks. So it was just always like awesome to be with Janelle. And also like the other cast, like, I think what brought us all together is like everyone had such a good vibe, because everyone was like feeding off each other's like vibe and how nice they were. And like, especially like the crew, like they were so fun to hang out with. And especially because, they were always on set, and like me and like whoever I was with, like would just talk to them, like hang out, because I don't know, everyone there is just so nice. And yeah.
What he said, I've never worked, so doing this film, we only had 14 days to shoot it. That's really quick to shoot. I've never worked on a project that short and connected with as many people as quickly as I did on this film. What Tommy said, everybody, their energy when they showed up, everybody felt connected to this project. You work really, really hard because when you shoot that fast. I think everybody we loved this film, and everyone could tell, and we had a blast in between takes. Tommy was trying to teach me how to play guitar. We were jamming on the guitar between takes. It was great.
Is there a particular
Is my internet okay? Because it's telling me that it's unstable.
We can see you in here. It's a little bit kind of going in and out, but now it's okay. Now we've lost you for a second, but we hear you. So
maybe I'll go upstairs next to a little closer to the modem, because I've been having trouble with Zoom lately. I don't know why. Let me know. If
everyone's
better.
using it these days. There you go.
Yeah, there's like 50 million people online probably.
Right. I know, right? Okay. Hopefully this is better.
Yeah, totally.
Even to have connection, that's kind of crazy, like with the amount of people online,
Yeah, that we're even getting it.
Yeah.
Rough.
Wanted to ask you guys spend, the 14 days together and more now together, but Tommy, I'll start with you. What is the favorite thing about Janelle that you learned through being together? Is there anything that stands out to you in particular that you really appreciate about her and love about her?
She's like really caring, and she cares about other people and not just herself, and like, she's willing to give advice, and she's like willing to help me, and she just wants the best for everyone, and and that's like kind of what stood out. Like, she's just such a nice person, and that's what made me like love her so much. She's just awesome.
I love hearing it. What about you, Janelle? What about Tommy that you really absolutely adore?
Tommy's just the genuine, like, he's so sweet. I think he just loves people. Like, one thing that really stood out to me about Tommy, even just like in the first 2 days that I've known him, or I knew him, he loves hugs. He just will like come up to you and snuggle in and give you like the best hug. And immediately, even if you're tired, like on the earliest days, where we'd wake up at 5 and get there. On the earliest days, Tommy would come and hug me, and I would feel just like energized and happy and so much better. Like, he's just a little love bug. He just spreads so much love and joy. And how much he genuinely loves what he does. Like, it was so wonderful to just watch him love being on set. Even on the long days, I'd be like, how you doing? This is a long day. You doing okay? And he'd be like, I love this. I'm having so much fun. Like, he's just the most positive person. I just love being around him because he makes me feel so great.
Thank you.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I love hearing these things, and especially about co-stars, and hearing about these relationships. You don't usually get that. Oftentimes, you don't get it on sets. Everyone's just there to do the job and leave to the next one. But this is a bonding experience in so many ways, and it comes through in a movie, and it's just so beautiful in a sense to hear that the connection all of you guys had together.
And
I wanted to.
Okay, wait, before you ask your question, it's so awesome because, like, I always try to be positive no matter what, but when something's truly, like, you do not have to, like, exaggerate how great it was, because, I mean, everything I've been a part of it has been great, but, like, this was, like, so perfect, I don't even have to, like, I'm like, I'm just gonna, like, say this thing, like, I'm not, like, I'm just gonna be, like, really nice about it. Like, literally, this was so awesome, and, like, everyone there was so nice. It's, like, there's no exaggeration to this. It's, like, everything we're saying is completely true.
Wow. I was going to ask you guys about the ending in a sense. I'll put a little disclaimer there. I was kind of curious, what was your interpretation of it? Because it's a little bit open-ended. You can kind of interpret what happened within the final scene. What do you guys individually think the story ends like, and what it probably means for the future of these characters? I'm going to start with you, Janelle.
Well, I will say I do love that it's open-ended. I do love that you get to choose. And there's just a beautiful moment where it's really only Gina and I was going to say Carlos and Pedro who acknowledge the moment. Like, they're both just like, do you see that? Do you get that? Right? Now, for me as Janelle, I very much believe in signs. That's just me. So for me, I don't necessarily think that he is, in my mind, I don't think that he is the reincarnation of Vaughn, but I think it's a little wink from Vaughn, because Oak says it came to me in a dream, right? And I feel like it could be, in my mind, Vaughn telling Gina, I'm still watching over you, I'm still here, I'm still a part of your life and your universe. That's how I interpret it. Obviously, in Gina's world, that's absolutely the reincarnation of Vaughn.
Was he adopted though at the end? Because it seems like it, that he became part of the family.
Yeah, we bring him in. He's ours.
Perfect.
Can we cut that out though, or is that? Do you think that's okay to keep in?
Oh,
like
we can.
Like you said, like just like how he adopts them.
Well, you said he was saying it's going to be a disclaimer, right? So you'll say like spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. And
okay. Yeah.
So people who want to watch it can skip over that part. Yeah.
Okay.
What did you think, Tommy? What was your interpretation of the ending and kind of how the story might go forward?
Yeah, I agree with Janelle. For me, I felt like it was well, I think Oak, like he was confused, and I think he knew that he had a connection with Vaughn, but he knew that he was just Oak and he was his own person. But I definitely think that he had a connection with Vaughn, and he knew that. I have the same, in my opinion, I think that it's like the same thing as Janelle. That's how I feel. Like, it was kind of just a wink from Vaughn that he's still watching over Gina and everything. But yeah, that's just my personal feelings. So.
I want to start wrapping it up with you guys. I want to know individually, what are some things, because Janelle, I followed your career. I watched a lot of your shows in the past. And Tommy, now I'm so excited to learn so much more about you. Wanted to know in your personal lives, what sort of hobbies or interests do you have? I mean, Janelle, you've done a lot of work. So what's some things you like to do in your free time to kind of, because you got to be a regular person. I always feel to be a great performer, you need to be a real person, have a rich real life experience of a person, and not just be an actor or performer in that moment. What are certain things you enjoy to do to kind of get away from it all and clear your mind?
So in real life, I am a huge homebody. It didn't start that way, but just through doing a lot of traveling for work and spending months away from work, especially after I got married and being away from my husband, there is nothing that I love more than like being in my home with him and our pup and cooking and just sitting on the couch and like binge watching Netflix. But also we do love to do little getaways together. So we love a good road trip. We love to get away into the mountains and just unplug and go fishing and go hiking. I also love to get home to Hawaii every chance I get, see my family. Yeah, those are the things that I really miss when I'm working.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Tommy?
Well, I'm kind of in the developing state of my like, you know, I guess like career. So I mean, I have free time, but like, I mean, like, you know, most of the time I'm like trying to like work on my stuff, and I do play music for fun. It's not like just something that's for work. And I mean, I hang out with my friends a lot. That's something that I like to do whenever I get a chance to. I play a little bit of video games because, you know, that's like that kind of makes me feel like a kid. Well, I am.
Hey, I still play. I'm 34, okay? So
I'm 31. I love my video games.
Yeah. It kind of makes me feel like, you know, I'm just like, you know, kind of like everything is gone. I'm just like playing with my friends, and I'm just like, you know, I don't have any sense of like, oh, I have this like music stuff that I'm doing. And like, although that I love that stuff, it's just like, it's a cool thing to have in my life, like video games, like, you know, really like make me feel like, and you know, like this music stuff or this acting stuff, it's just not happening. But then once I get back to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like, I get these opportunities to be able to act and play music and do all this stuff.
Oh, that's good, Tomcat. You got to be a kid too.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I was just going to say, you got to be a kid, and that's how, Tommy, you're going to be a successful person in life and be happy all around. If you're enjoying your time and then devoting your time to your craft. So sometimes people allow their craft to become their life, and then they start disliking it because they put too much pressure on it. So you enjoy the video games and your friends, and I think that's how it's a perfect combination of work and happiness and play in that sense.
And I'm still trying to balance everything. I'm still trying to get everything right, because I'm 12, so like.
Exactly. Jeez, I can't even imagine that, you know, thinking that. A lot
of times, like, if I get too carried away, I just tell myself, I'm 12, I'm 12, I'm 12, yep. I'm 12. I can't
repeat that.
Hard on myself. I mean,
that's really good, Tommy.
Time to myself and take breaks and hang out with friends.
That's really smart. I hope you keep on doing that. Well, can we end on a note where you play a little tune for us, or whatever you feel like it? Anything quick, anything fun? I need to see this.
All right. I haven't really practiced, but
that's okay.
All right, I'll try. This is an original song called.
Okay. Nice.
I'll do a shorter version of it. Standing up, I am tired of the way that things have been, and I'm scared to face the strange. Freaking out on the perfect people that will never change, and I'll wait for that day. Don't you ever change, you're perfect. I would stay with you till the world ends. Don't you ever change, you're perfect. I cannot explain. Frozen heart from the songs that twist around inside my head, and I can't keep them out. What the hell? I can't live with all the bad things I have said, but I'll say them all again. Don't you ever change, you're perfect. I would stay with you till the world ends. Don't you ever change.
absolutely awesome. What's the name of the song again? We kind of dropped out there.
It's called Perfect.
It's in our movie. I love that song.
That's the first time I played guitar today, so just I'm still warming up and everything.
That was like a stage performance. Believe me, this was absolutely amazing. Such a positive message and great song.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really enjoyed the film. I think you guys created something special, and it seems like the movie will go on, and live on. But these relationships you guys formed, I think that's a lifetime right there of friendships and stuff, and I can see it right through speaking to you guys. So just thank you so much, Tommy, for playing and speaking, and Janelle for taking your time. This was awesome.
Thank you so much, Jim. Glad you liked the movie.
Absolutely. And where can people find you guys? Any social media you like to share, or anything where they can find you?
You have 7 million followers. Let me plug first. Let me put my...
Take it away, Tomcat. Take it away.
Follow me on Instagram at Tommy Ragen. Ragen is spelled Ragen.
You see, how can you not love him? He's the best.
I mean, he's the best.
You can find me at Janel Parrish on Twitter and Instagram.
And the 7 million right there. Hopefully you will see this performance too. We got to share this, Janelle. Got to make sure everyone sees Tommy. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoy your time and stay through. The world's in a crazy place right now, but positivity and stuff like this, and Tommy, your outlook in life, and you, Janelle, I think you guys are the right way of approaching things and keeping a smile on when things are not even the best, right?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you guys. Hope to connect again.
For sure. Bye, Tommy. Love you.
Bye, Janelle. Love you. Bye, Jen.